Now, this is so important as far as I'm concerned. Understanding the true market value of your boat. Now, if your boat is a production catamaran, it's much easier to predict this, at least getting some good data around it. If it's a custom boat, much harder. So let's focus on production cats for the moment. A lot of boats are advertised for an aspirational price, but understanding what boats are selling at will give you a much clearer understanding on where you should price the boat if you want it to move faster. And this is the method that we've adopted to help move boats in a quicker time frame. There's a huge amount of data that we can have access to as brokers through the Yacht World websites. And as an example, we've produced a little report there on a Lagoon 410, for example, between years of 2006 and 2004, and you can analyse, what the boat was listed at, what it was sold at, and try and get an idea of roughly where it sits in the global market. Because even here in Australia, people coming in to buy a boat will look at options in the Caribbean and in Europe, and also locally, or even around the South Pacific. So all those factors do play a role. But then we also cross-check selling prices that we've got in our internal database. So we've got about 1,400 boats in our system, and we've sold a lot of boats over the past few years, and you can pick up on quite a few different models, what boats, what prices have they sold at locally, so we can get a feel for real market value. Now, times change, market value can be affected by lots of different things, but I think it is a real good gauge to measure where the boat sits in the market. And it is rare that boats appreciate in value. So you've got to kind of be realistic about, okay, where is it sitting at the current point in time? So, and it is a common mistake that people look on the various websites out there and go, well, I can see such and such boat advertised for this price. But that is a bit of a red herring. It can confuse people with, again, what people are asking for and what the reality is, because sometimes there can be a huge difference depending on the person and the boat, and what the boat actually sells for. So though we have a look at what boats are being advertised for, in my mind, what the real market value the boats are selling for is so important. Another common mistake that happens is pitching your boat too high based on aspirational prices, and it sits around getting stale on the market. So we had a quick question there from Paul. The price drop in your slide from Yacht World, is that based on what? The price drop for aspirational price. So yeah, the price drop is based on the price that the boat was originally listed at when it was advertised, and what the price was when it actually sold, so the selling price, the difference between the listing price and the real selling price that's noted by the advertising broker at time of sale. So that's where those percentages come from. Steve, any comments on market value pricing?
Yeah, sure. I agree with what you're talking about. Just one other thing, look, if you were to be using a broker, and look, experience is very, very important when we're coming to value a boat. For example, a 4-cabin Lagoon 400 that's for sale in Croatia is probably been an ex-charter boat when people are talking about buying them overseas, or there's a big difference to a 3-cabin that's lying in Sydney, and some brokers know the boat, they would have sold it before, which I've done a lot of. So it is important to have somebody that's experienced that can help you with having knowledge to price your boat. Same as the Seawinds, Brent and I have sold many of them brand new. We've traced their history for the last 10, 15 years, and we do know what they sell for. Well, like all I and my 5 colleagues do is talk to people all day about, buying and selling boats. So if you were to choose a broker, it's very important to choose somebody that's got a lot of experience.
And that's a really good point. And that probably also plays into custom boats, as Andrew's noted there. Custom boats does rely a lot on the experience of the broker who's dealt with other custom boats, and gets a better, I guess, more gut feeling for where the boat's going to sell, having had history selling similar boats. Obviously, one custom boat's different to the other, but you can draw comparisons and similarities here and there. So it's not as easy to pump out a statistical report, but certainly, an experienced broker moving some of those boats can really have some good add value there. And that's, I guess, an area that some of our brokers have got a lot of experience with. While we move quite a few